Welcome to Marketing News Now with your host, James Harold Meeker. Today, I'm podcasting from the Silicon Valley hills of Austin, Texas. Our topic today is the creative things you can do with artificial intelligence. I know many of us see ads or what looks to be like friendly help on places like LinkedIn, offering guides or white papers on how folks are implementing new agents, new code, new markdown files, tutorials, tips, all kinds of information on how to enable or improve your skill sets using AI. About 90% of them you'll find are behind some sort of a firewall where they want something from you, either email address, personal information, or for you to pay for what they were promoting as free. This is a bit of an irritation. I think it's an opportunity to make a fast buck or waste your time. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I thought I'd share with you, going a different direction, what I'm working on with artificial intelligence to perhaps inspire you to use AI in a different way. I hope as you see this and some of the other projects I'm going to bring in and show you via this format, it might help you rethink of some of the power and benefits you can get from using AI. No tricks here. I'll walk you through my projects. You can see how I did them, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two in the process. So with that, let me kick off my first in a series of these type of tutorials, which is our Power Dashboard. I vibe coded this. It's pretty straightforward and easy to do. I'll walk you through the structure of it. I'll set out the important pieces of information, and you're welcome to contact me via the comment sections below with any questions that you might have, and I'll be happy to answer anything that you've got on your mind. So let's get started and take a look at how we can use AI to build a personal Power Dashboard. All right, this is the Power Dashboard that I developed using Claude. It's pretty straightforward. You see a lot of moving parts here on the screen. I'll break this down for you and tell you kind of what I did. Um, it's mostly developed in Python and HTML with cascading style sheets. I'll walk you through the various areas of the app. All of this was vibe coded, so it was a standing conversation between myself and the AI in order to develop this. Okay, let's start out with the first row on this. You see a lot of movements going on. I'll break it all down for you. It's titled Power Dashboard, but this is a temporary name. You can rename this into anything that you would like. There's a setup screen that controls a lot of this, which we'll get to in a moment. Besides the name and the date, go to the internet and pull the weather. There's a number of places that you can get the current weather by zip code or your location, and AI can help you pick the right one out for you to get your temperature and weather if that's what you want up here. Of course, it displays my local time. I've got a refresh, so it'll go out and rescan data if I want a refresh. I can force the application into doing that. There's a setup button here, which we'll get to last because it'll give you an idea of how best to control this. The stock ticker that you see, I've got it froze right now. If I move the cursor off of it, it'll start moving again. This I pull from Yahoo Finance. They have an API service. There's no cost to use this. All you have to do is tell the AI agent where you want to pull the data from, and it'll set it up. It's pretty straightforward. There's no keys required or anything like that to get it going, at least not as of the time that I programmed this. I have my calendar pulled. This is running on a Mac. You could run this just as easily on a PC. You develop it on your own platform and it'll optimize for your own environments. But I look at today's events, I look at tomorrow's schedule, and it just gives me a reminder. In the heading, if I click on any of these titles, I have AI set up these panels so that it'll take me to the application itself. It's important to note that one of the definitions that I gave the app, the AI up front on the app, is that I wanted these panels to be movable and to be resizable. And that allows me to customize this the way that I want to look at the data. The next area also comes from Yahoo Finance, but I have the previous 5 business days charted for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones. And so I can scroll through in just a moment's viewing and determine kind of where the market's going at any given moment. What are any current trends? I'm still playing around with this, adding features to it. I recently added the volume so I could see kind of how much was being traded at a given time. And I'll continue to add capabilities in this panel. One of the cool features, if you notice, I've got these 3 panels right here of news. If I hover over any of the panels, it'll stop it. So I can read the news headline without it moving around on me. There's a general category, a technology, and a finance. All of these I can change in setup, so they're not hardwired into the application. When I do change them, they will change the hyperlinks. So where I have Fox News and Western Journal, they're going into the general news bucket. TechCrunch and The Verge goes into technology, finance is CNBC and Fox Business. But these could be anything, and you program what you'd like it to pull the news from, and it'll scroll the top 20 stories at any given moment. If you click on any of the headlines, it'll hyperlink you into the original article for you to take a look at. And being in the industry, as I'm sure most of this audience is, I also have a general interest in AI news, so I built an AI news with different sources that are pulling information on any AI stories. For my own information, I get a little system health. You can tell I'm pegging my CPU out while doing the recording and then managing this multitasking window on how my RAM and my storage is doing. It looks like I'm in need of some storage pretty badly. We'll have to address that pretty quick. I also needed a timer so I don't sit in front of the computer too long. So I developed a concept of a coffee cup, and I had AI program it so I can put in, let's say, a period of time, like 1 minute, or I can tell it at a certain time at 3:30. Set off an alarm, and so the coffee will drain down and give me a reminder to get up and go do something else or work on a project or whatever I need the timer for. But it's visible and on the screen. I have the speaker turned off, so it's not going to buzz, but you get the general idea. The next area are frequently used applications. I call these power tools. To set them up, it knows what applications have been installed on the computer. I just check off what I want from a list, and it populates these things in here. And I can have as many or as few as I want. I can grow or expand the area. Again, once the framework was set up by AI, dropping in these panels and the behavior was all done. It was very easy. Some of you may enjoy this one. This is the downloads organizer. I'm constantly downloading files, and it takes me forever to go through those files to sort them through. Do I want to keep them, delete them? And so that downloads folder gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll rescan the folder right now. It's telling me I've got some documents, some images, some spreadsheets, some videos. And what I'd like it to do is to organize these and file these applications or documents away so I can go through them at my time and have them pre-sorted. So what I'll do is I'll say organize these files, and just about as fast as you can say Bob's your uncle, it moves everything into corresponding folders so I can get to them later. It's pretty quick. It's moved in almost 4 gigabytes of content into these subfolders, and I can delete them and maybe solve some of my capacity issues. There is a empty trash button in here. If I have trash in there, which I don't at the moment, just click that and it'll erase any of the content that's in the trash can. So that's basically what I wanted in a dashboard. I can sit down every morning. I can look at the futures. I can look at the big headlines of the day. When the stock market opens, the app will switch from futures to stock volumes, and I can update this and change it as frequently and as easy as I would like without having to involve AI. by going into the settings panel. I can switch the power dashboard from a light or a dark background with the themes. Here's where I would name it at. Weather location, you see right now it's in Georgetown, Texas. The stock that you see tracking on the ticker at the top of the screen is all programmable. I put in the stock symbols and hit apply, and it'll adjust it on the fly. I've got some email. I'm only displaying one of them, but I can track as many email accounts, and it'll tell me how many unread mails are in each one of those accounts. I'm reading reminders, so I've got various reminders. It'll tell me what I've got open in the reminders application in Apple, and I'll post that up there. So if I have a to-do list, it shares that with me. I've turned on and off the system health. I can make that panel disappear just by clicking on that. You can kind of see it moving around in the background over there. Click it back on, and you can see it being added. Markets, news, the RSS sources for the news. You can see how I title them and how they're hyperlinked and where the RSS feeds come from. The applications that are in the Power Tool folders, I can select any of the apps that have been installed on the computer, click on it, and it would add the icon down in that box. And then if I want to move this to a different computer, I've got a way that I can move it to another Mac. I click this thing and it packages it up, and I just copy over a zip file and reinstall it. And so I can create some portability between the couple of different computers that I own. Anyway, this is what I developed. I wish I could tell you it took an hour or two to do it, but it took probably a few days of dorking around with it and figuring out what I liked, what I wanted in there. If I had mapped it out mentally a little bit better, it would have been done a lot faster. But once I started playing with it and I thought, oh, I bet I could do this and I bet I could do that. A few of those kind of changes in the architecture adds quite a bit of time. I had to restructure things for redos. But in sharing this with you, I'm hoping that this will inspire you and give you some ideas of some things that you could do with AI and hopefully improve your productivity or give you a cool dashboard with useful information to help you navigate your day. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll do a couple more of these. And if you got questions, please don't hesitate. Let me know. You may need some API keys depending on your sources of some of the information you're going to take off the web. AI will walk you through what it requires and the best way of getting it, the URLs to obtain the keys. It's really quite easy to achieve that. So don't be afraid. Just start playing around with it. And even if you have to pause and pick it back up a few days later, it'll still be there. It'll still be waiting for you. And enjoy. Hey, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Know the wheel, respect the logic. Roulette looks like a simple game. Red or black, odd or even. Pick a number, place your chips, and watch the wheel spin. Behind every spin is something most players never stop and think about: the math. That's why I wrote Roulette Logic, my newest book. It's a clear, no-hype look at roulette, the probabilities, the casino's edge, smarter decision-making well before you put your money on the table. This is not a book about promising magic systems and guaranteed winnings, but it's more about a framework to keep you in the game longer and having more fun. You'll learn how roulette actually works, its history, and the stories behind some of the largest wins at the table. Clear explanations of odds and why the house edge matters. But I'll give you proven combo betting structures and probabilities and outcomes that are all in the Roulette Logic book, including the probabilities and outcomes in Roulette Logic. Hey, what's new is that all of the math has been verified and complemented with artificial intelligence. The probabilities and logic that's in Roulette Logic have all been validated and verified by the latest AI models. I also cover bankroll, session management, and the disciplines that you need to shape every decision at the table. So whether you're casino curious, a regular roulette player, or just fascinated by risk and probability, roulette gives you the edge at the wheel. Roulette Logic, where I help you understand the wheel so you can respect the logic. The logical thing to do before you even start thinking about your next trip to the casino is to get my new book, Roulette Logic, available exclusively at Amazon. For more information about the book, you can go to the Harrold.house website. That's HARROLD.house. It's published by Harrold House Media. It's also important to know that this book is designed for educational and entertainment purposes only. Gambling involves financial risk, and the house edge described throughout the book means that over time, players are expected to lose money. No betting system, strategy, or knowledge of odds can overcome this mathematical reality. If you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling problem, free confidential help is available 24 hours a day at gamblersanonymous.org. Please play responsibly and play within your means. Have a good one.